So how is it that Behringer is being sued for copying or cloning one of the most copied and cloned pedals of all time, the Klon Centaur? Let's dig into the lawsuit and try to figure this out. Now I'm going to tell you right off the top, I am not a lawyer.
Oh, here's a fucking surprise.
What'd you just say?
I spent a week in law school in 2009. I'm going to use that expertise to try to figure this case out and answer my questions, which I'm assuming you probably have similar questions as to why the Behringer pedal, why now, and why not the million other Klon clones that have existed in the past, some of which have looked very, very similar to the real Klon. First of all, we have to talk about what Klon and Bill Finnegan are actually suing over. So this is what they're suing for: trademark counterfeiting and infringement, trade dress infringement, false advertising, misappropriation of names and likenesses, and unfair competition. So what does all that really mean? Essentially what they're saying is that Behringer has counterfeited the Klon Centaur. Beyond that, they're saying that the trademarks that Klon LLC owns were inappropriately used or infringed upon, as well as the trade dress, which is essentially just like the whole vibe of the pedal. They're also saying that you and I, the consumers, the customers, were misled intentionally by Behringer, specifically through one of their promotional videos, to believe that Bill Finnegan and Klon LLC have somehow sanctioned this or are okay with it, or they've signed off on it. Now, this gets even more interesting. This is what Bill Finnegan and Klon LLC want out of the lawsuit. They want an injunction, which means Behringer has to stop making this pedal. They want damages, which of course is going to come in the form of money. And this is my personal favorite, the destruction of any remaining unsold units. That is going to definitely put, in some people's minds, the $69 Klon copy from Behringer into the lawsuit era type thing where it becomes a collectible of sorts. So now that we know what they want, why they're suing, I think we have to ask the question, why not some of the other pedals? The first one that I thought of was Warm Audio's Centavo. This one is very obviously inspired by the Klon Centaur. So let's dig into a few very important details as to why I think they did not get sued. First of all, they did not call it the Centaur. They called it the Centavo, and this is a very important point. Klon LLC actually owns the trademark for Centaur. This is where Behringer went wrong. Behringer called their pedal the Centaur Overdrive, and it literally says it on the front of the pedal. Warm Audio, as well as pretty much everybody else that I'm aware of who makes a Klon clone, did not call it a Centaur. Everybody comes up with their own name. They did use a very similar, if not almost exact logo though. How did they get away with that? Well, Klon LLC does not own a trademark for that very recognizable logo. You've seen it on other Klon clones, but it starts to compound is kind of how I understand this. It's a weird fine line, and I don't know any behind the scenes activity at Warm Audio or any of these companies, but my guess, based on the Warm Audio products that I've played and demoed, is that there was some type of maybe gentleman's agreement or some type of heads up given, or maybe just like, hey, how far can we go before we cross over from inspired by to infringing upon what you've done, Bill Finnegan and Klon LLC. I'm assuming Warm Audio is pretty good at that because they base their entire existence on making really great reproductions of classic pieces of gear, just like the Klon Centaur. I wasn't totally convinced that that is enough for this lawsuit. I think there's more to it. I really think it has to do with the video that they made.
Well, it was this exact reason that the Klon's creator, Bill Finnegan, went on a mission to create a pedal that could deliver rich harmonic drive at low volume levels. It took over 4 years to perfect the design, hitting the market in 1994.
The video that Behringer made about 6 months ago, which is about how long this pedal has been available, is really, I think, where they got themselves in trouble. This video references Bill Finnegan, it references the Klon Centaur. It is very, very on the nose and not careful to separate the two, which, Warm Audio and these other companies who have made really great, recreations or homages to the Klon Centaur, they are very careful and they're very strategic when it comes to how they present their promotional materials and the pedal itself. Warm Audio is very smart. They actually put the Warm Audio logo right on the front of their pedal. So there's no mistaking that that is a Warm Audio pedal. Yes, inspired by a Klon Centaur, Behringer didn't do that. It doesn't say Behringer anywhere on that pedal. If you're deeply ingrained into the guitar world, you're going to look at that and you're going to see the case is much more compact. It's a different shape. The knobs are closer together. All it says is Centaur Overdrive. The real ones didn't say Centaur Overdrive. You're going to know all these things, but not everybody knows that. Not everybody's paying that close of attention, and it's that wider perception that Bill Finnegan and Klon LLC is saying is being damaged by Behringer making this pedal. So, begs the question, what's going to happen here? I don't know. Tell me what you think. Would you actually buy one of these Behringer Centaur Overdrive pedals just to have it because of the controversy? How does it sound? I don't know. I mean, I guess it sounds okay in the video. I mean, we could go on for hours about clones versus the real deal. I mean, Bill Finnegan actually cloned his own pedal with the KTR smaller, red case version of the Klon Centaur. So this is, again, not a new thing. So, did I get it right? Is this why this is happening right now? I think I'm pretty close, but let me know in the comments. If you happen to be a lawyer, even better, you can help me understand what I just read.